Welcome to the second episode in this bite-sized devotional series about hope. Today we will look at the reasons as to why we hope. So in short, we hope because the tomb is empty. This is something that probably many of you are contemplating this Easter weekend about Jesus' death and resurrection and the empty cross and the empty tomb. And that is one of the reasons behind why we can hope. I'm going to read a passage from Paul's letter to the Romans, chapter 15, verses 8 to 9 that says, "For I tell you that Christ became a servant to the circumcised, that is, the Jews, to show God's truthfulness in order to confirm the promises given to the patriarchs and in order that the Gentiles might glorify God for his mercy." So here Paul talks about one of the reasons why Jesus came. Jesus came to be a servant to the Jews, to be like the Jews, to prove to them that God's promises come true, right? To remind them that God's promises still did come true in their time. And he was a fulfillment of the promises that God had given to the patriarchs, so Abraham, Isaac, and also all of the prophecies that were given by the prophets in the Old Testament. And Jesus also came so that the Gentiles might glorify God for his mercy. Who are the Gentiles? The Gentiles are the non-Jews, so people like you and me who are not Jewish. God sent Jesus so that the Gentiles may also glorify God for his mercy. So Jesus was not only for the Jews, he was also for the Gentiles, so for the Jews and for the rest of the world. And this is why we can hope, because Jesus was not exclusive, right? Jesus is for everybody. And here we see again this theme of God's character being proven. So God's character really is the foundation of our hope. God's character, God's proven character, is what we build our hope upon. Jesus' death and resurrection is the beginning of our hope. And the promise of Jesus' return is what sustains our hope. Now the second coming of Jesus will be the culmination of our hope, where everything that we have hoped for, the convictions of things not seen, everything will be fulfilled upon the second coming of Jesus. It's the hymn that we sing, "Because he lives, I can face tomorrow." We can hope because Jesus lives and we know he will return. In the same chapter of Romans, just a few verses down at 13, it says, "May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, so that by the power of the Holy Spirit you may abound in hope." This is a prayer that Paul makes for the recipients of the letter of Romans. And so we're just going to break this down a little bit and look at 4 different sections in this short prayer. So we're going to start from the God of hope. God is the one who gives us hope because it is from him that our hope comes from through Jesus. Next is all joy and peace. So may the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace. Joy and peace are things that we need to have in our hearts when we're going through trials and tribulations. They are things that help us during difficult times as we cling to our hope of Jesus and work on increasing our faith through difficult times. So in believing is next, right? May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing. Believing is an act of faith. And probably, as you can guess by now, hope and faith are deeply connected. They are very closely intertwined. And lastly, he says, by the power of the Holy Spirit. So it is the power of the Holy Spirit in us that allows us to have this overflowing and abounding hope. When we do not have enough of our own strength, the Holy Spirit helps us where we are lacking so that we can continue to grow in faith and have stronger hold onto our hope for tomorrow.